The following is a CSPN Media podcast presentation.
Let me tell you about who deserves a shot at the United States heavyweight.
Let's hear it.
I'm the champion. I ought to know. You know, I've been sizing up guys since I came to the WCW. And I think the one guy that stands out the most, the guy that I think has earned a title shot, El Dandy, I think you're a heck of a wrestler. You're a great technician in the ring, and you're a jam-up guy. I don't see any reason.
Wait a minute. El Dandy has been wrestling in the cruiserweight division here. Please.
He's a great wrestler.
He's a great wrestler, but my goodness sakes, it's 50 pounds.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
So let's talk about some serious
How about hypnosis? Let's get thrown.
Psychosis?
Whatever. He's a great wrestler, you know.
Mine on the line. Sammy Guevara, it's my time just to take flight. Put it all on the line.
Hello, and welcome to episode 261 of the WrassleCast. I'm your host, Don Delarente, and I'm joined by my SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Didi Jonet.
Hey, friend.
What's going on, friend? How are you?
Nothing much. How are you?
I'm good. Are you prepared to be out amongst the ghouls and the goblins?
Listen, the rain. First of all, my best friend's talking about, oh, I have a fever. Okay. My other best friend's talking about, oh, my dress got a stain on it, and it's raining tomorrow. So, then I'm looking at my damn outfit like, that hoe don't fit. And it's like, do you know how bad it gotta not fit? It's a whole outfit. It ain't supposed to cover much anyway. But what it does need to cover, it don't. So it's a struggle. Is what my story is really all about.
I had really high hopes that you were going to be prepared like you've been the past couple of years when you were doing your Halloween stuff, but doesn't seem like the case this year.
But first of all, it don't even really seem like I'm going out. I got one more friend I got to corral and figure out if we're going out. And if we are, then I need a whole new outfit, which I can do. I can make it simple. I can be a cat burglar. All black. Boom. Done. But I just don't want to go out alone. So I got to see how that goes.
Well, good luck with that, friend, and we will definitely find out how that went during next week's dark match for sure.
Oh yeah, if I go out, it'll be on the gram. Yeah, same name as my Twitter handle. So head on over. Is it the same name, or is it DJ? Why don't I know?
And we're joined on this episode by a first-time guest, Miss Cammie. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for the invite. Glad to be here.
No problem. Thank you for following the WrassleCast and joining us in our live tweets. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I haven't personally said it, but I am glad that I found your page, because it's been nice to have a hashtag to talk to people about this, and it's been great. So I'm glad with that. Yep, one way or another.
Well, as we do with all first-time guests, we have to find out a little bit about your background with professional wrestling. So, like, when did you start watching, who got you into watching, and who were some of your favorites when you first started watching?
Okay, so I'm going to have to dig and think, but I think I can certainly say it was my two older brothers who got me into wrestling. You know, when you're like the youngest, I'm the youngest of three. You want to do everything your other siblings are doing all the time. So that was what? When it was still called WWF Attitude Era. I think Paul, who were the people that were buzzing at the time? What were the storylines? I think it was Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin feuding at that time, back and forth with each other. That's my earliest memories of getting into it. No. Actually, no. The first match I ever saw was actually the Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker and Mankind. That was my introduction to wrestling, which blew my mind. During that time, I would say some of the wrestlers that I was attached to would probably be The Rock, Stone Cold, of course, Chris Jericho, most definitely, were some of the bigger ones that made a big impact on me, that I still love to this day.
And currently, who are some of your favorites that you are drawn to?
All these days, I'm really interested in supporting my Black wrestlers and women's wrestling. So I would say, of course, the New Day. Love the New Day. I cried when Kofi won his championship. For women, definitely Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch. I love my girl Naomi. I hope she comes back soon. I miss her deeply. And so many I have to think about. But that's start, I would say, one of my favorites who I love as well.
All right. Well, once again, we're glad that you could join us this week for this episode of the WrassleCast. So we look forward to hearing your commentary with color on this edition. Mm-hmm. We're going to start with the news. And, well, if you listen to this podcast, there's only one piece of news to talk about. Jordan Myles, a.k.a. ACH, dropped a bombshell on Sunday on his Twitter account where he posted a picture of T-shirt idea that they originally came up for him for NXT, his NXT merch. And basically it was a black T-shirt with a mouse smiling with his name in the middle as the teeth. And, when you see that on a black T-shirt, the first thing you think about is Bamboozled, Minstrel Show, Sambo. And, so Jordan Myles just basically put everybody on blast and was like, hey, this is what they came up with. Got through all these channels. And if this is what Vince and Triple H think of me, then, I'm going to keep, bringing this up until they hear my voice and some things get changed around. So he's had an interesting 3 or 4 days since. He even caught Jay Lethal up in the mix. He caught some strays, and he wasn't even part of it. But I'll ask Miss Cammie, our guest, her thoughts on the issue with Jordan Myles, a.k.a. ACH, when everything started to come to light through social media.
So, first and foremost, I don't know how anyone did not see what that shirt was. It was straight up, just looking at it, you could tell that this was a form of blackface. It was just like, even if it wasn't, people are saying it wasn't intentional and things like that. Maybe it wasn't. But the thing is, the shirt is problematic. I'm glad that he spoke up about it. So when it happened, I just completely agreed. I was on the whole making the point, sharing it on my tweet, saying this is not what should be happening. We need people in, I don't know if it's marketing or whoever it is, whoever's doing on the T-shirts, there need to be people there to block things like this happening. Most definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely shows that WWE doesn't have anyone of color in a high enough position on their marketing or in their branding office that is looking at these designs and reviewing things to make sure that nothing like that gets past the vetting process to where, it goes out into the public. Even though they said they did not sell the shirt, it never made it online, but it's just that it got made in the first place is definitely an issue that needs to be taken up with by WWE with someone. Miss Didi Jonay, I'll bring you in for your thoughts on when you first saw this going down. What were some of your thoughts that you had behind the situation?
Okay, so to walk you through my thoughts is I don't know that man, right? Because whatever show he's on, I don't watch it.
NXT, but it's been a minute since he's been on there.
Right. So I look at the picture and I was like, it's an ugly shirt. And then I saw the controversy and I was like, yeah, that is exactly what that looks like. So I could see how, actually, no, I'm going to be honest. I can't see how anybody created it because it's ugly, first off. But let's say you created it and you didn't see that this was very racist, very problematic. What pisses me off is when black people are like, that's racist. No, it's not. That's not racist. It's just, it was just happenstance. They just happened to create this really racist stereotype for his T-shirt. And it's like, so you want me to believe it's an accident? Can I just tell you that's not better? Like, it's not better to be accidentally racist. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not better that that's where your thought process goes and that's where you can cherry pick ideas in your mind and it comes up racism. Out of all the things you thought of, you settled on racist. Like, that's not good either. So I don't know who's behind the scenes, and I mean, we talked about it a little earlier. It's like whoever was back there probably saw it and was like, y'all not gonna listen no how. And I got bills to pay, so yeah. If there even is anybody back there. So it's just one of those things. And then, I'm getting into like mini arguments. People are like, there was an accident. They don't want the drama. They don't want the pushback. What pushback? What pushback? These are the same people who are going to Saudi Arabia every year. They ain't afraid of nobody pushback. What the fuck? So, yeah, they stressful. Them fans are stressful. The shirt was ugly and lazy and racist. So, they should just do better all around.
It's so unfortunate that this situation had to happen to him. If you listen to this podcast, you know how I felt about the character and how they were depicting the character from the beginning during the NXT Breakout Tournament, how everything was all about this damn smiling and how much focus they were putting on him smiling. And I was just not a fan of that. And then for them to double down and make the T-shirt that they made, it's just like, oh, double unfortunate for him. So it explains a lot, because up until he gets ready to wrestle Adam Cole, he's coming out in his normal ACH with the bubble vest and big ass smile and over smiling. And then he wins the tournament and he's getting ready to wrestle Adam Cole, and he comes out and he's looking like a Jehovah's Witness. He's got on like black pants, white shirt, black tie, and noticeably not smiling. And it's kind of like, so everybody like made fun of him on Twitter, like, man, what the hell is this new look or whatever? And he got clowned on it. And he was like, he came out with some tweet that was kind of cryptic, like, y'all may be clowning me now, but, something will come to the light later or da-da-da-da. So obviously this is all what that turned out to be in hindsight, was he came to them with their frustrations. They tried to kind of alter his character to change up that motif. He got beat and he hadn't been on TV since. So just a whole bunch of stress and things like that he definitely didn't ask for. That has definitely come into his life. He's one of the guys who just wants to wrestle. He doesn't want to be involved in any controversy that would cause him not to wrestle. But this is a good cause for him to speak up on, and he's done a lot to help himself and hurt himself, but hopefully he can stay focused on the issue, which is the T-shirt and WWE and their lack of representation in the higher up places that it needs to be, so things like this don't happen going forward. Now, Miss Didi Jonay, we got this new format where you are the A show.
I've always been the A show. Y'all just have not been up on it.
So now we will turn the show over to you to get us caught up on what happened on last week's Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh my God. Yes. So SmackDown was out of place. I'm assuming it was in America.
Yeah, I got to start writing it down again. I forgot where it was at. It's somewhere. Oh, Indianapolis.
Yeah, that place. So okay, hold on. I'm opening a can. It's going to be very loud.
Whoop ass? Oh.
Truly. The grapefruit version. Oh, wait. I distracted y'all. Take a drink. Grapefruit is that girl. If you can mix her with grapefruit vodka, oh my God. So, yes. There is an episode of Miz TV to start the show. Hogan, Flair, and members of their team are in the ring. including Corbin, Nakamura, Gable, Ali, and Roman. Miz hypes the big tag at Saudi Mania 4. Oh, we're not calling it Sweet Saudi Money. Oh. Hogan says he has the greatest team of all time and that they will destroy Flair. Flair says that Hogan and Roman can't coexist due to their egos. Oh, I thought he meant due to the racism. Flair says Roman and Hogan will go down to him and Team Flair. Hogan says Flair has never beaten him and never will. Hogan puts his team over. Sammy cuts him off as he should, mocking Shorty G. Gable says he accepts who he is and is proud to be on Team Hogan. That's where you went left. Ali mocks Sammy for not wrestling anymore. First of all, Sammy the Syrian icon can do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Corbin calls himself the crown jewel and says he will take his team to victory because Reigns will let everyone down. Reigns will bow to him. All this sounds so racist because the fans don't need a hero. They need a ruler, first of all. Reigns says he looks stupid. Boom, facts. And is not a real king. Who's the king we acknowledge?
King Booker.
Damn right. Look, I got to sharpen it again. The grapefruit just hit different. Okay. Team Hogan wants to fight. And they set up a tag match for tonight. Sammy says they will consider it and the heels bail. I love that Sammy's like the Jimmy Hart of it all. I enjoy that. Hogan suggests Ali, Gable, Roman versus Corbin, Shinsuke, and Sammy for tonight. They agree. Sammy says he can't wrestle and is injured, so someone in the back will have to take his place, and that will be Cesaro. Then they get to fight him, and the faces stand tall. Is Sammy really injured?
I'm not sure about that.
I think it might be part of the gimmick. So
I enjoy him on his Jimmy Hart, though. Like, you know, Protection X, save yourself from CTE, whatever you gotta do. Don't be out here like Johnny Gargano. That boy looked like he lives with a concussion perpetually. So it's like, if you gotta tell him, twisted my ankle, can't do that, then, you know, do what's best for you. But anyway, next match, New Day versus Ziggles and Robert Roode. Kofi tags in Big E, who runs wild with suplexes, dumps Roode, and clotheslines Dolph. Kofi follows with an assisted dive. Roode cuts off Big E, and then Dolph cradles Kofi for the win. Aww. Post-match.
We have to give props to the New Day, though, because when they were coming up, you know how they go to the back to show, you know, who's about to wrestle come out. Before they come out, they had Xavier Woods pulled up on FaceTime so he could still make his appearance on TV.
They're such best friends. How precious.
That's a royalty check too, because he was on the show.
I love that. Is Big E single? I want them as his best men at the wedding. I want them walking him down the aisle. Like, I want the whole shebang. I want an event. Okay. Post-match, the Revival. I'm creative about all the shit that don't matter. I know. Post-match, the Revival and Heavy Machinery arrive for a brawl and to hype the big Saudi tag match. They hype Strowman versus, I was about to say Nick Fury, Tyson Fury.
Your Marvel flag is showing again.
Listen, it was like, that's what that name means to me. Oh my God, what if he came out in a leather trench coat and an eye patch? Lacey Evans cuts a promo mocking her opponent and says she won't compete with this nasty, she's like a Republican lady from down south. Evans plans to walk out of this cow town because they don't deserve to watch her. Okay. So she faces a lady named Cameron Connors.
She looked like a twist between Cameron and Naomi.
Oh, she's the black girl.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's all racism.
As soon as I saw the hair, at first I was excited, and I saw the face, like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's absolutely racism. Don't ask me how, but it is. So anyway, Evan starts to leave, but then lays out Miss Cameron with the women's right for the win. Nikki Cross comments on her upcoming title shot against Bayley. Nikki says Bayley is feeling the pressure of being champion and will gladly fix that by taking the title from her. But later on tonight, she has a match with Mandy Rose. Ooh, the Firefly Funhouse is back because the rest of insurance works quickly when you keep up with your premiums. Just read me, okay? I know, I need renter's insurance. First of all, Oscar's out here looking like a thick snack. Okay, I'm sorry. Focus. Rambling Rabbit died in the fire. So Seth is a murderer. They hold a memorial for him, and the puppet shares some kind words about him. Bray says that his mom wanted an open casket, so we see his charred remains. Oh. Bray says he loved him, and Rambling Rabbit comes back to life. Mercy promptly eats him, and Rambling Rabbit is dead again. Because, you know, barbecue rabbit is delicious. So it's not really her fault.
This one was weird. Super duper weird.
The first ones were odd like that. Like a little... Like, am I high right now? Did the Joker inject me with some shit? Like, what is this? Oh, it's just so good. Okay. Drew Gulak versus Kalisto. Drew cuts a promo, brings back the PowerPoint presentation on Strowman versus Fury. Kalisto attacks, hits a head scissors, and follows with strikes until Gulak cuts him off with a spine buster. There's an Argentine cutter, which is interrupted by Braun. Who, Strowman? Kalisto hits a Salida del Sol and pins Gulak. Braun came out. Oh, but that means Braun distracted. Take a drink. Thank you so much. I'm glad I read that with clarity. 3, 2, 1, sip. Okay. Braun follows with power slams on Gulak and runs down Fury and promises to give him these hands. Michael Cole interviews Daniel Bryan. Cole asks him about his rough few months after false allegations of trying to kill Roman Reigns and then his recent win over Nakamura. Cole asks if the Yes Movement is back, but Sammy and Nakamura arrived. Why don't Cole ask him about that big-ass ginger man? Who the fuck he is? No, I'm still not over it. I'm never going to be over it. I want an answer. Who is that man? Like, did y'all just get him from Craigslist? Say that. Like, where did he come from? Oh, that shit pisses me off so bad. It's like, it's like when you watch a soap opera and they just drop a storyline and it's like, I've been watching this for 7 months. Where is my payoff? Like, there was a whole murder mystery. We have unmasked the killer. It's like at Scooby-Doo, and they unmask the killer, and then it's like, but who are you, though? Like, part of the unmasking is I need to know why. Like, who is... I could talk about this all day because it still makes me so mad. It's still aggravating the shit out of me. Like, if I paid for the network, that would make me drop my money for the network. Like, I hate it. But I don't pay for the network. Okay, yeah. Sammy says they show no ill will towards Bryan, and then show footage of Bryan saying the Yes Movement is dead from last November. That was almost a year ago. Sammy says that the fans don't like the new Bryan because, you know, we don't like Captain Planet and shit like that. But Sammy knows the new Bryan is the real Bryan. Bryan is a good and honorable man, unlike these fans, and Bryan is too good for these people. But he has a lot in common with them. Sammy is vegan too. Is he vegan?
He might just be saying that for the purposes of getting Daniel Bryan on his side.
Yeah, because I mean, how you gonna give up cheese? Like, I don't know about that, son. Could you give up cheese?
It'll be rough considering I made like 2 like ham and cheese grilled cheese sandwiches this morning for breakfast.
Oh, that sounds so good. Listen, I never gave up meat. I could give up meat though if I could keep bacon and shrimp. I could give up the rest. Could I? Yeah, I could give up the rest if I could keep bacon and shrimp. Nah, but I had banchan. I need banchan chicken too.
I was about to say, you're missing out. The chicken has got to be in there. Some type of chicken got to make it in there some kind of way.
Listen, banchan chicken is otherworldly. And if you are ever in DC, go to the one by the stadium, the Net Stadium. Oh my God. They have happy hour and their real drinks are not real. Okay. So yes. What else? What else happens? Oh, Nakamura also loves the planet. They are all artists in the ring, and Bryan may be one of the greatest ever. Bryan can either go back to the Yes Movement, or he can move on and join them. Sammy says they can make the world a better place and asks him to join them. So Sammy's a redhead. Nakamura is Asian. Daniel Bryan is white. All they need is like a black guy and one from South America, and then they could be like Captain Planet and the Planet Seers.
I like that. Give that idea.
It's perfect. Who would be Hart? Sin Cara. Because he got them all by the neck in catering.
Would Apollo beat the black guy since we need just a...
Yeah, probably. Listen, if Daniel Bryan weren't part of the equation, I would say Lana and Bobby, but that's gross. So, yeah. Anyway, I digress. Sammy offers him a handshake in the Captain Planet deal, but Bryan refuses and walks off. So no powers combined, no Captain Planet. I'm sad. Anyway, Nikki Cross versus Mandy Rose. She dumps Nikki onto the floor, allows Sonya to attack. Mandy rolls her back in, covering for 2. Nikki makes a battle back. She follows with some rights and a clothesline. There's a high cross for 2. Uh-oh. Sonya distracts Nikki. Take a sip. But Nikki cradles Mandy for 2 and then hits the purge for the win. We love a distraction. All right. Brock and Kane go face to face. Ray and Kane arrive. Ray talks about the beating Brock gave him and Dominic. Dominic showed heart and showed he's a Mysterio by getting his ass beat, I guess. That's what they do. But it was the worst day of Ray's life as he couldn't help him. Dominic is getting better. And Ray thanks the fans for their support. Dominic still plans to compete in a WWE ring. Brock has done what he wanted for far too long, and Kane will make him pay at Crown Jewel. Ray, calls Brock out. And when Brock and Heyman appear on the screen, they refuse the invitation. Brock has other plans, and we see a laid-out Dominic at Barack's feet. Barack laughs and smiles as Ray and Kane rush backstage. So, backstage, doctors are checking on Dominic. Ray and Kane are concerned. Brock rushes in out of nowhere.
Dominic, you okay? You okay? Hey, guys, I need some space. Guys. Guys, Dominic, are you all right? Let me see your eyes. Let me see your pupils, Dominic. Can you move your neck, Dominic? Guys, I need some space here. Guys. Need some space. Let me see them. Does it hurt here? Where does it hurt? Where does it hurt? Does it hurt here? Guys, I need some space. Here, guys.
My God.
And it just looks like a game of Plinko. It's amazing. It's like pinball. Like, it was like this one into that one and hitting the bumpers and shit. It was crazy.
You know my guilty pleasure is violence against Dominic, right?
What did Dominic ever do to you?
I'm just a bad person, I guess, because I was thinking about that today when I was like, when we talk about this Dominic thing, I'm going to just come off as a bad person because this was hilarious again. What was really funny was when so Brock comes in there, hits Kane with the trash can, hits Ray with the trash can. Ray gets back up, rushes Brock. Brock catches him and F5s him straight into a wall. Boom.
He did.
And then
it looked like it hurt. Yeah.
And then he landed on that table. I was like, oh shit. And then when he picked up,
didn't he like slow roll off the table or something?
Then when he picked Kane's big ass up and then just tossed him on the Dominant without no care, and you hear Kane hit and go, totally lost it. I was like, you know what, man? I should not be this excited about Brock Lesnar beating up Mexicans because it looks very racist when you put
it's
it in
racism, and y'all like it anyway.
But damn, that shit was hilarious.
That was hilarious. I will admit that.
Y'all are hateful.
He bounced off of Dominic.
He did. It was just like a bumper in a pinball game. It was crazy.
I was like,
I played a level just like that on Mario Kart earlier. All right, so your main match of the night is Ali, Gable, and Roman versus Corbin, Nakamura, and Cesaro, a.k.a. Good Guys versus Bad Guys, a.k.a. that one white guy I don't fuck with versus the white guy we all fuck with. Yep. Cesaro cuts off the Superman punch with a swing. Sharpshooter follows. Reigns fights, but Cesaro sits back on the hold until Ali makes the save. Corbin hits a deep six. Shorty Gable dumps him, and it completely breaks down. Cesaro cuts off the spear with a pop-up uppercut for 2. Reigns fights off the gotch. Hits the Superman punch, and the spear follows. And then Ali hits the 450 for the win. AKA Heels win going into Sweet Saudi Money the 4th. And that is how SmackDown in Indianapolis is ended. That wasn't good grammar, but yeah.
Miss Cammy, we'll get your thoughts first on overall thoughts on SmackDown.
I mean, it was okay. I wasn't completely invested. I didn't need that much Hogan in one day. It was just the beginning with the whole segment, like, I just tune it out. It's just Hogan going back, Ric Flair going back, and then them exchanging insults. It's just, I could not be any less invested in this. I hate to say it, but I have like no investment in this Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. But I think, like, for the most part, it was just kind of just matches that weren't really going anywhere. I really had like concerns about things like, what are they doing with the New Day? I'm really just concerned about where is everybody going post Crown Jewel, because I have zero interest in it.
Well, that's the thing with Crown Jewel. They just run everything up to Crown Jewel, and then once they get past Crown Jewel, they try to figure everything else back out after that.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get past the Crown Jewel event, and then then it's going to be the setup for Survivor Series. So everybody's going to start, repping for their brand.
Right. It's like, I mean, it feels like do you all know? I haven't checked when Survivor Series is.
It's in November. I think it's November 23rd.
I mean, I guess that's
it's the week before Thanksgiving, yeah.
Yep.
I guess it's enough time to like be building feuds and stuff like that. It's just like, I really would like for this time to be focused on like getting everything built up. But then again, it's like the second week in since the draft. So it seems like they're just testing the waters with everybody, seeing where things go and stuff like that. And I'm just curious about that. Where is everything going to go? But for Crown Jewel, I'm just like, I'm not interested in anything. The Brock Lesnar versus Cain, what's his name? Cain Velasquez. I can't even remember his name. It's just like, I don't care. I have not forgiven the first opening day SmackDown to care about this match in any shape or form. But Brock Lesnar, for the first time this entire year, did make me laugh with what happened in that room. But the rest of it, I'm just...
That's so hateful.
Miss Dejanay, you got a rating for me?
Yeah.
You got a rating for me? No rating.
I wasn't there for enough of it to give it a good shake.
Okay.
I don't want... And I'm not high voting Brock in that damn room. No matter how funny it was.
The main event was really good stuff. Really, they're trying to rehab Ali again, but I think it might be a little bit too late. Like I said, totally here for the King beat down by Brock, even though it makes me a terrible person. And unfortunately, even though she was on here 2 weeks in a row, could have used another Bayley promo. I thought Sami Zayn was really good trying to convince Daniel Bryan to come on over to their side. And that was really about it. Everything else here was just kind of, filler trying to get you ready for Crown Jewel. Drew Gulak, though, is very entertaining. I will say that about him. So, yeah, I just thought it was a little, probably a middle-of-the-road effort from SmackDown, 3.5 out of 5. Not their best, but not their worst.
Mm-hmm.
Now we'll switch over to Monday Night Raw, coming to us from St. Louis. Paige, she welcomes us to the show, and she brings out her tag team, the Kabuki Warriors. They have new gear. It's a little bit darker than it has been. Paige puts them over and says that she took them and made them a team. Then Asuka takes the mic from Paige, and then she speaks in Japanese. Then Kairi Sane, she speaks in Japanese, and they cackle evilly. And then Asuka sprays the mist into Paige's face. Paige can't see. She's all hysterical or whatever. Unfortunately, they can't put the boots to her because, Paige has a bad neck and everything. But they're harassing her. That makes Becky come down for the save. She attacks Kairi Sane. She then gets into a big brawl with both Kairi Sane and Asuka. And that leads to our very first match of the night, Becky Lynch versus Kairi Sane. But before we get there, ladies, what y'all feel about the opening segment? Miss Didi Jonay, did you get a chance to see this?
No.
No? Oh, this was actually probably one of the better parts of Raw, actually. Cammy, your thoughts on Paige officially getting dissed by the Kabuki Warriors?
Oh, it was beautiful. The whole thing with, since this all started, Kabuki Warriors and Paige, it just never vibed. It was like some type of Frankenstein monster thing with them together like that. So when Paige went away for a little bit, I think it was surgery or something like that, and Kairi...
Lip injections, yeah.
Okay.
No, she had to have a surgery on her neck.
And then she had her lip injections in the meantime.
Yeah, but when she was gone, and it was just Kairi and Asuka on their own, and they were allowed to just talk to the Japanese, that was when I was like, this is what we need. We do not need Paige anymore. Just let them do their stuff. It's like, there's always this language about they can't speak unless they have a mouthpiece, but they're so expressive without it, they don't need it. So when that happened, where Asuka Kairi's little evil laugh first off, when Asuka sprayed her, I was like, thank you, Lord, when that happened. So, beautiful moment. And the match was, going into the match itself, that was phenomenal as well. It was like the first time that we really got to see Kairi, have a match. Because most of them have just kind of been, throwaways, not a lot of oomph in it. But this one, particularly, her submissions, all that, it was such a good match to watch.
So we'll get into it. Becky Lynch versus Kairi Sane. Kairi hits a back fist and she covers for 2. Lynch then counters a submission into the disarmor, and Kairi Sane has to tap. But like Miss Cammy said, they got a lot of time, and Kairi Sane got a chance to really show that she can go, and gave Becky a good run. The crowd was really into the match, and that's always a good sign. R-Truth, he gets interviewed about losing the 24/7 title. He plans to win it back. Buddy Murphy arrives and says that Truth should be focused on him and not that 24/7 title. So they have a match, Buddy Murphy versus R-Truth. R-Truth hits the leg lariat for a 2 count. The 24/7 geeks run through and they distract R-Truth. So they're running around the ring. R-Truth joins in to all of them running around the ring. He slides back in. That's when Buddy hits the Kamigoye and he pins R-Truth to get the win. We get an AOP video package. And then the Street Profits, they arrive. Montez Ford says they made their debut last week and they showed up and showed out. They beat the OC with an assist from their homie, Kevin Owens. Angelo Dawkins talks about the after party from last week, but he can't remember the name of the chick he was kissing on. Anyway, he says they are here and they want to smoke, and then they head back into the crowd to have a good time as they leave. They did a fantastic job with the Street Profits. They're the only people in NXT who really had a significant build to them coming in, not just kind of, hey, they came from NXT and everybody knows who they are. They actually got a chance to be on Raw for like 2 whole months before they had a match. Finally got a chance to have a match. The people were behind it. Then they come back out the next week, get to cut a middle of the ring promo, and the people are even more behind it. So good job, Paul Heyman, of rolling out the Street Profits in a way that makes them so over right out the gate, and everybody is introduced to them, and you don't have to be like, well, who are these guys? I've never seen them before. I don't have any interest in them, but everybody does now. In the Department of Redundancy, we get Drew McIntyre versus Ricochet.
McIntyre making his march to the ring. The final pick for Team Flair just 1 week ago.
March is exactly how I describe it. Drew McIntyre has a renewed focus. You can see it.
Wait a minute. Whoa, Ricochet!
Well, you're right. Ricochet focused on Drew McIntyre. Had him right between his sights.
Throwing caution to the wind is Ricochet. And we're talking about that beatdown last week. I mean, Ricochet has vowed to get back at Drew McIntyre, not just for himself, but also for Hulk Hogan and his teammates ahead of Crown Jewel.
Man. I don't know about you guys, but I would never be in that big of a hurry to fight Drew McIntyre. But Ricochet is.
Ricochet again.
Look
Take it to the air.
Are you kidding me? Hey, look at this, though.
Well, Ricochet now trying to quicken the pace. Goes up, goes on, and takes down McIntyre.
That's what it's going to take. Fast pace.
Ricochet springboards, got caught again.
No.
Shrank too much of McIntyre. Whoa.
Hey.
The quickness again. And Ricochet launched. What a back body drop by McIntyre.
Just cover him.
Hoisting up Ricochet once again.
No.
Ricochet trying to get out of it.
Did you see his neck snap?
McIntyre taking off his feet for a moment. And what a right hand by Ricochet.
Oh, man. Ricochet has Drew McIntyre right where he wants him, I think.
This could be his moment, King. Wait a minute. Where did McIntyre get that from?
He's like a superhero. Or superhuman. Yeah.
The rage boiling in McIntyre. He got caught. McIntyre got caught.
And he used Drew McIntyre's momentum against him. He ran right into that foot right in the face.
Adrenaline can make a man do crazy things. Blacking out the pain is Ricochet. He's fighting through. Ricochet now trying to get to the top rope.
Oh, my goodness.
All the way up is Ricochet.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Looking to fly.
Yo!
Whoa. McIntyre looking.
What? Randy Orton out of nowhere.
The captain of Team Flair.
Oh my gosh. The Nature Boy does it again.
this duel.
How do you defend against something like that? Come on, Nate. Get in there and take your place. Nate's having the last laugh on the Hulkster.
Dee Jonay.
Mm-hmm.
We were in Randy's hometown, so this went over huge. People were cheering very loudly. The RKO as a move in itself is always going to be over. And then the way Ricochet took this, he should have had a broken neck because he landed awkwardly in like head and neck first. It was Randy Orton wasn't such an ass in real life. This would be real easy to cheer for. But yeah, he has his issues. But so another week, another rematch, but this one ends in disqualification with Randy Orton and a little bit more build up for the big Team Flair versus Team Hogan match going down in Saudi Arabia. The OC, they stare down Didi's new fave, Humberto Carrillo, backstage. AJ praises his effort against Seth Rollins last week, but says if he wants to prove himself, he needs to face the real champ, AJ Styles. The Viking Raiders, they faced off against two guys dressed up as the Chicago Cubs. The Viking Raiders beat them with Thor's hammer really fast. Andrade versus Sin Cara. This week, Andrade says that he has an equalizer. That last week, Selena Vega got involved in their match, but this week that won't happen because he has his own valet, and her name is Catalina. Sin Cara hits a destroyer. Catalina takes out Selena Vega, but Andrade cradles Sin Cara with the ropes for the win. Now this makes Sin Cara look so damn bad. You went, got an equalizer. The equalizer does her job to perfection, and you still lost. So if they were trying to build up a mixed tag match, they totally booked that for that not to happen. But we'll see where this goes. Andrade is going to get a chance to wrestle for the Universal title by next WrestleMania. I'm calling it now.
Okay.
Come on, Mr. Nikki Bella effect.
You heard it here first. The reverse Nikki Bella effect?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's the same difference. You get success because of who your lover is.
Did you see who they're going to be as for Halloween this year?
Oh, Gomez and Morticia?
No. Very
stereotypical,
idea, but yes. No, they're going to be Harley Quinn and Joker.
Oh, they're basic. Yeah.
Did you see Russell Wilson and Sierra?
Yes, they did the things.
Sierra seems like such a fun girlfriend to have.
She seems like a sweet little Christian girl who just learned how to twerk along the way.
Because Russell Wilson had none of this coolness nor swag before he started dating or was married to Sierra.
Russell Wilson is the only black athlete known to man who had a white wife and went and got a black one. Like, amazing.
Charlotte and Natalya, they faced off against the returning Iconics. Peyton Royce with the blonde hair. It's not as good as the black, but I can get used to it. Peyton Royce grounds things. She tags in Billie Kay and double teams follow until Charlotte makes the save and dumps Peyton Royce to the outside. Natalya fights back. We get the sharpshooter on Billie Kay. Charlotte takes out Peyton and Billie has to tap, and Charlotte and Natalya are victorious. I really need somebody to explain why the hell Charlotte and Natalya are a tag team.
I think they're outplay Charlotte and rebuild her as a face. So they're having her do like small time stuff. That's what I'm thinking.
But we could at least had some type of explanation. They chilling in the back, and the Iconics come up and mess with them or something, so they have a reason to wrestle. It just seemed too out of the blue.
Right, so like no context for it. It's just, look, we're like tag teaming today. And I agree with that.
Right. It's like, man, come on, take 5 minutes more to set it up. You got 3 hours on the show. I think you could, spare 7 minutes to set up a tag team match later in the night.
I think that's the case of, like, Natalia's tag team partner. It's just like every week she's like, I got a new tag team partner. No context. It's just, here's my tag partner. It's just, I think I just see it as normal now. How it happens with her all the time.
Seth cuts a fired up, but not all that good promo on The Fiend. The people are done with Seth Rollins as the Universal Champion. He needs to go ahead and lose the title and reset himself, because Hell in a Cell has killed everybody's want to see him be the main guy, man. He is getting booed, and it's not good right now for him. Not to mention all the shit he's saying whenever he's talking online or on the internet. So he's not really likable on TV or in real life right now. Seth Rollins versus Eric Rowan, Falls Count Anywhere non-title match. Seth hits Rowan with a ladder, then Rollins stomps him onto the ladder. Seth rolls him under a forklift, and then he has a driver put the forklift forks on top of him. He stands on the pallet, which was on the forklift, and he pins Eric Rowan. If this looks familiar to y'all, it was the same way that Mankind beat The Rock in Halftime Heat. So somebody was watching their WWE Network over the weekend and came up with that one. Aleister Black, he's in his little room. He wants to fight, and he's waiting for someone to knock on his door. AJ Styles versus Humberto Carrillo. The Good Brothers are at ringside. Carrillo misses a moonsault, allowing AJ Styles to hit an inverted DDT for 2. Carrillo fights back and hits the top rope moonsault for a 2 count. Styles cuts him off, attacking the leg, and the calf crusher gets the win for AJ Styles. After the match, the OC beats down Carrillo until the Street Profits come and they make the save. So Humberto Carrillo, 2 weeks in a row getting some shine. 2 weeks in a row, though, he gets beat. So I don't know how much shine you can get when you lose, but at least they're trying to showcase him in some high-quality situations. Miss Cammy, your thoughts on Humberto Carrillo? Is this your first time really getting to see him these past 2 weeks on Raw? Were you familiar with his 205 or NXT runs?
I probably saw, though, remember to watch 205 Live. I've probably seen about 2 or 3 of his matches, but I didn't really think of it. He's been impressive to these past, and I get that frustration where it's just like he's doing so much and being so impressive, but like back to back, like pinfalls like that. I mean, not because that was a submission, right, with AJ?
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, it's just like goes back to the office, and then also, the Street Profits saving him. I don't know what they're trying to do with him, but he's really talented. I hope he gets some type of turnaround soon.
Now we get to Miss Dee Jonay's favorite part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
The King's Court, Divorce Court with Lana and Rusev. Lana and Rusev arrive. Rusev is still wearing his wedding ring because he believes in true love. Lana is upset because the fans have been mean to her. The truth is that their marriage was only about what Rusev wanted, which was sex. Rusev says, well, can you blame me? Lana says Rusev wanted sex all the time and everywhere, and she calls him a sex addict.
First of all, that sounds great.
I don't know.
I ain't mad at it.
Rusev can't believe she said that. And Lana says he only ever wanted to put a baby in her. He never loved her. Rusev says he wanted a family because he did love her. Lana claims that she's a model and a fashion influencer and doesn't want to be Mama Rusev. She then claims that Rusev cheated on her and Bobby Lashley told her so. Rusev says Lashley is talking shit, and then Bobby Lashley arrived. They brawl. Rusev slams Lashley into the steps, and they battle into the ring. Lashley cuts him off, but Rusev follows with the Machka kick and a Samoan drop. Rusev takes off his wedding ring and shoves it into Lashley's mouth, and he beats Lashley down. Lana attacks Rusev with a kendo stick. Rusev no-sells it and keeps asking why she's doing it. That allows Bobby Lashley to punch and kick Rusev in the balls. Lashley and Lana then make out as Rusev is down on the ground, recovering, massaging his injured balls. And that was the end to Monday Night Raw. Mr. DDJanae, we'll let you give the analysis on this particular portion of the show first.
As a lifelong watcher of Maury Povich, Jerry Springer, Judge Judy, Ricky Lake, Sally Jesse Raphael, just to name a few, I feel I am very well versed in
Jones now.
There was a J that I was missing and I couldn't get there. Thank you, Jenny Jones. There are other ones, but point being, I am well versed in the art of I cheated on my man and my man cheated on me and my man is a sex addict. I want you to know, Lana, that you don't take the word of the new dude you fucking, that he saw your man out here in these streets. Now, maybe Rusev was starting and bopping. I would want it independently verified. That's just me. Ultimately, why aren't you getting a divorce? Or are we just going to be open and free with our legs and our vagines? Because if that's the case, Rusev can go. Mandy look like she'll do anything for a good buck. Like, you know. Well, that's rude. Let me not say that about her. No, fuck her. She was racist about that woman's hair. Yeah, like, he's got options. If it's that, you know what I mean? So being like, well, Lashley told me so. First of all, when is Lashley and Rusev in the same place? They don't fuck with each other. What Joanna Scammer said? We don't know none of the same people. No.
Miss Cammy, I'll get your thoughts on the Lana Rusev Bobby Lashley love triangle storyline.
I don't know if you heard like the very last like minute or second of Raw where it was that person who shouted, "This is weird." That exclamation, I was like, you're speaking my feelings, dude. It's just so weird. It's like, the one thing though that I will say about the whole thing, she says like the problem was that Rusev wanted to have sex all the time. It made no sense to me because like, but wait a minute. What you doing with Lashley though?
Right.
2 weeks. So the first, well, after the makeout session, the next 2 Raws were you and him in bed one day, the other one under the massage table, implying that something was gonna happen when it went to commercial. So I'm not getting the sync up here. But it was weird. That's all I gotta say.
They don't have quality control in any department at WWE, whether it's the T-shirt making or it's the creative team writing. Nobody is just laying back going, oh, that don't match up. Oh, yeah, that's racist. Or, no, that storyline doesn't match with what we put on TV 2 weeks ago, so we got to go back and make sure it all aligns up. They got nobody doing that. This was a very embarrassing edition of Monday Night Raw. Oh, my God. This is one of those things where if you watch wrestling and people question, like, why do you still watch wrestling? And you defend it as best you can. And then if this happens to be the one thing they walk in on and they asked you about it, you probably just have to drop your head and say, I don't know. It's like at this point, I'm just conditioned to turn on this at 8 o'clock and just, digest whatever they feed me. But yeah, this was a bad edition of Monday Night Raw. So unfortunately, the only real highlight was the damn RKO, and that came from a person we can't even cheer for. So
that's true. I hate that too. I was like, damn RKO, but I hate you. But also, I thought it started off high. It was like A+ with Kyrie, with the Kabuki Warriors, and then the match that followed. It just slid down.
Right. Totally agree. At this time, we'll just remind everybody, please head over to the Patreon page at patreon.com/CSPN Media. Support the CSPN and the WrassleCast by either spending $1, $3, or $5 to become a patron. If you do sign up at the $3 and $5 levels, you will receive access to our exclusive content over on our Patreon page from the WrassleCast. That is a weekly version of the Dark Match. Hopefully everybody listened to the free edition that came out this past week. If you do like what you heard on that free edition, please sign up and you will get the Dark Match each and every week. That's where we do our AEW Dynamite reviews, and you'll also hear the pre and post conversations between me and Miss Dijonay and our guests here on the WrassleCast, and also Anwar Starwin when we do Caster Strong Style. So please check out the Patreon page, the Dark Match, that can be found at patreon.com/CSPN Media. Now it's time for our NXT review. We could get a throwback NXT opening as we get a live music performance from Poppy. She does the show intro, and it has the NXT highlights from last week playing in the big screen on the Jumbotron behind her. The performance bleeds into Io Shirai's entrance, and Io Shirai comes out, and she's doing her crazy shouting, screaming with this live performance. It was really cool. It was kind of like an old TakeOver intro. So it gives us our first match, Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. Candice gets a surprise roll-up for a 2 count. Candice gets the underhooks from behind. She sends Io face first into the mat. Io rolls into a chair that she brought into the ring. Candice goes for a springboard moonsault, but Io Shirai moves and Candice lands right on the chair. Io covers Candice for the 1-2-3, and Io Shirai is victorious over Candice LeRae again. 2 times. Yeah, this was good. This was real strong. Nice way to start out NXT. From the live performance right into the match. Didn't give you a chance to calm down. Good stuff. Miss Cammy, you got any analysis on the match between these two ladies?
Well, unfortunately, because y'all are ahead of me, I'm currently watching it.
Oh.
So I just rewound it just now, so I'm watching bits of the match right now on my DVR.
Spoiler alert.
I'm Io wins. I'm good.
Miss Didi Jonay, did you have?
It was a good match.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
You have any particular feelings on Io Shirai getting another victory over Candice LeRae?
It makes me happy. Team Ethnics, yes.
Candice LeRae has a lot of Johnny Gargano seeping into her career.
What, constantly losing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what she deserves. No, she didn't do anything wrong. It's just that I like Io better. That's all.
After the match, Io kicks Candice in the face, then mounts her and gets in a few right hands. That's when Rhea Ripley comes out to make the save. She kicks the chair out of Io's hand and looks to smack the shit out of Io with the chair, but Io rolls out of the ring. Finn Balor comes out. He cuts a promo explaining his actions from last week. Finn says that as usual, everybody's got their opinions. Fans, the office, the boys in the back, etc. Twitter tough guys, they even got their opinions. He said the problem around here is that there are too many fans in the locker room when they should be sitting out here with these people. Finn doesn't watch this business watches him, which brings him to Johnny Gargano, the heart of NXT. He says, Johnny, congrats. I heard you got out of the hospital. He said he wants to be clear, though. If Johnny wants to go again, Finn will send him straight back, and he won't be Johnny Wrestling. He'll be Johnny Watches Wrestling. He loaded up the chamber and put the bullets in and shot them all out on this particular promo right here.
He did.
He starts out talking about the Fiend, talking about he had to lay down to the hottest thing in wrestling just because he put on a mask. He was like, I took off my mask and I became the hottest thing in wrestling. Like, damn, first line. All right, this is the Prince Devitt version that people who've been watching New Japan have been crying that they wanted to see come to WWE. Straight up heel, don't give a shit, talk shit, and back it up, Finn Balor. So this should be a lot of fun moving forward. Bronson Reed takes on Shane Thorne. Two Aussies match up against each other. Shane goes for the top rope Hurricane Rana, but Reed pushes him out of midair, and then he hits a big frog splash, and he gets the win. Backstage, Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox, they're standing by. They're nervous, but they've both worked hard to come back from injury, and they're going to be bringing the fight to Asuka and Kairi Sane. They've talked about the tag team titles for so long, and they can't think of a better way than to win them with their best friend. Time for the match, Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox versus the Kabuki Warriors. WWE Women's Tag Team title match. Dakota Kai is going for the go to sleep, but Asuka counters and sprays the green mist. Kairi follows up with the insane elbow on Dakota, and Dakota Kai is pinned by Kairi Sane, so the Kabuki Warriors retain the Women's Tag Team titles.
I have thoughts.
Yes, ma'am.
When Asuka sprayed old girl Dakota with the green mist got on her shoulder, her arm, her hands, and her chest. So when Kairi went up to give the elbow and Dakota was laying on the ground, there was no reason why the unobservant referee didn't see that Dakota was now green. I will admit, Kairi did a great job of covering her up on the pin, but it was still situational blindness.
She said a lot of mist. That was the most she sprayed on anybody. Or maybe it was just the first time she gave somebody a direct hit.
It went perfect. Because I remember her hit with
Becky.
It was very lopsided. It was very much the arm got the mist, not her face.
Paige was really good too. Like Paige is old green.
The one she did with Paige, I saw it in slow motion. It looked like she was like just pouring out, like easy. She's probably just getting better at it. It's probably a thing.
Yeah, that's true. Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, because it's one thing to spray it, like, Triple H sprayed his water all the time, but you're trying to spray it on a person directly. Like, you got to make sure your aim is right and true. And it was. She did what she had to do.
This was a hell of a match. This was a long match. He got a lot of time.
Yeah, it was.
They had like 2 hot tags. Tegan Nox, I thought she got hurt again because there was one point near the end of the match where she fucking rolls out of the ring and she's holding her knee. And with her troubles and knee injuries, you can't really be too sure. So, but it appears that she was just selling. So thank goodness for that. And Kabuki Warriors are great, man. Asuka just healing it up. Kairi is getting into it, but Asuka, you could tell naturally she's a heel, and it just comes off so easy for her.
The Women's Tag Team Championship was represented.
Wait a second. Wait a minute. Nox and Kai have just been through a grueling tag team match. And here comes NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler. And the 2 women that Kai and Nox beat to become the #1 contenders, Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir.
Look at the look on the face of Knox. Oh, this does not bode well.
Dakota's still struggling to get that green mist out of her eyes. She's defenseless right now.
Tegan Knox, with a look of concern. She's been through a grueling battle, and it looks like the horsewomen are here to pick at the bones of Dakota Kai.
And Tegan Knox taking a defensive stance.
Knox attacking Shayna Baszler, but again, the numbers just too much. The odds not in Knox's favor.
Knox doing everything she can to defend her friend.
Baszler wants to take down any competition before it has any chance.
Knox delivering the Knox a big wow. Step up into Gary by Baszler.
Look at this.
This despicable display after such an amazing competition.
Unbelievable aggression. These three mercenaries, the merciless, only two-time women's champion in NXT. Oh my God, we've seen this movie before, and it doesn't have a happy ending. And Ripley, of course, has put her sights on the NXT Women's Championship.
Rhea Ripley back again tonight.
Ripley, who refused to back down from Shayna Baszler, who went toe-to-toe with the women's champion.
Taking her time, she only has eyes for Baszler.
Oh, wait a minute, what the hell? That's Io Shirai. We saw Io Shirai defeat Candice LeRae to kick off the show, and now Shirai and Ripley also have a, well, you can see what's going on. Wait, bring out the balance. It's a free-for-all in the women's division.
Whoa, she's
hit down by Ripley. And she is mauling Shayna Baszler. But here comes Belair, here comes Shirai. Everyone wants a piece. Everyone wants to be NXT Women's Champion. This is incredible.
This is complete chaos.
I've got a very simple solution for this. War Games.
What?
Mia! We just saw women's history here in NXT.
So there we have it. Our setup for our very first ever women's War Games match. This was good stuff. This was just as good as the AEW luxury box thing they had last week, where Cody came out, Dustin came out, MJF came out, DDP came out, and they all went up there and they had that big brawl. Well, this was like Shayna and them come out, then Rhea comes out, then Bianca comes out, Candice comes out, Io comes out, and we have this really big brawl. Good stuff, good stuff. Looking forward to a women's War Game match. Tyler Bate and Cameron Grimes, they have to follow that. Tyler Bate hits a big tope on Cameron Grimes and tosses him back in the ring when Killian Dane distracts Tyler Bate. That allows Cameron Grimes to hit the double foot stomp, and Cameron Grimes gets the win. After the match, Killian Dane attacks Tyler Bate. He tosses Tyler into the steps and gives him a senton into the steps. Dane then tells Tyler to give Pete Dunne a message that they have unfinished business. Next up is a Hector Garza video package. Then we have an announcement that Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler have been named the captains of the War Games teams. And now it's time for our main event of the evening. Keith Lee and Matt Riddle. They're gonna face off against Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. Riddle hits an Asai moonsault onto the Undisputed Era. He sends Fish in the ring. He ducks under, he locks up, and then we get a ripcord knee to the head of Bobby Fish. Keith Lee runs wild and he pounces Adam Cole in a Roderick Strong. Riddle goes for a powerbomb, but in comes Kyle O'Reilly. They go high-low and they cover Matt Riddle for the 1-2-3 as Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly are victorious. After the match, the Undisputed Era attacks Keith Lee and Riddle until Tommaso Ciampa comes down to even things up. They get into a big battle. They eventually run the Undisputed Era off. Ciampa grabs the mic because Adam Cole left Goldie laying in the corner. And he looks at Goldie and he says, Goldie, Daddy's gonna have to take a detour because Daddy's going to war. So we have loosely set up our men's War Games match. Ciampa, Riddle, and Keith Lee. They need one more, though. I don't know who that's going to be. If it's going to be Dijakovic, or because more than likely Finn Balor and Gargano are going to be doing their own thing separately in a singles match. So it'll be interesting to see who the fourth member of the babyface team is going to be. But that was NXT for this week. Fine show. Good 2 hours of pro wrestling. Very well done. Great setup for the women's War Games match. Fine victory by the main event by Fish and O'Reilly. And just doing what NXT does. Providing great TV and drama. Miss Cammy, when you do get a chance to watch this, I think you're going to really enjoy everything in this show once you really get a chance to watch it. So definitely live tweet about it when you get a chance, and tell me what you think off air once you really get a chance to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Right now, we're at the tag team match of the Cookie Warriors and Dakota Kai and Tegan. So a little hour behind, but I'm really excited about those War Games. I heard about it earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, the talent in NXT, the women, it's at peak right now. And, I think it's a better time to do this with the amount of talent that they have right now. It should be great.
Yeah.
It really should. I'm happy with that.
Definitely should be. So that was NXT for this week, and that's all things WWE related. Like I said, our AEW stuff will be coming out on Dark Match over on our Patreon page. All my New Japan folks, Power Struggle is this Sunday. It's going to have I know it's going to be Kenta versus Ishii for the Never Openweight title. It's going to be Jay White versus Goto for the Intercontinental title. It's going to be the finals of the Junior Tag League. I think Naito is going to be wrestling Taichi on that card as well. That should be a really fun match. So check that out on Sunday. Use the hashtag #CastAStrongStyle to share your commentary with color. So Miss Cammy, at this point in time, we'll turn the show over to you to give you your chance to give you your shout outs and thank yous. Let the people know where they can follow you on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff as well.
Well, this has been fun. I guess I'm going to say one shout out. I'm going to say a shout out to my brother, Namdi, a fellow wrestling fan. He's the one that said, do the podcast. Have some fun in your life. Shout out to him for pushing me to do this. If you want to find me, my Twitter handle is CammyD. That is KAMMEDEE. Mostly about 80% of it is wrestling, but the rest of it is just me learning out about anime, writing, reading, and stuff like that. So if you can handle that balance and know that you're not going to get 80% wrestling, but want to have good conversations because that's what I like, hit up my Twitter.
All right. Thank you very much. Miss Dee Dee Janae, I don't know if she's still with us, but I'd like to give a shout out to her for joining me and being our SmackDown Matters reporter, as always, each and every week. Give a shout out to Miss Cammy for coming on and being our special guest this week. Give a shout out to everybody who shows up and listens to the podcast, everybody who joins us in the live tweet. If you are live tweeting Crown Jewel at any point over the weekend, use the hashtag #RunTheJewelsCast to share your commentary with color. I don't know how many people are going to be watching that, but we will talk about the matches next week on the show. So we will definitely have a review of those actions that go on in Saudi Arabia. Then they're going to turn around and bring everybody back on SmackDown and have all these matches that are going to be super lackluster because ain't nobody going to feel like wrestling. So SmackDown Friday is going to be pretty weak. But it's gonna, nobody's going to be motivated to do anything after they just went around the world twice in less than 24 hours. But we'll be here next week to review it and catch you up on all the news and goings on in the WWE, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So, for our special guest, Miss Cammy, and our SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Didi Jonay, I'm your host, Don Delarente. This has been episode 261 of the WrassleCast. Please stay tuned for the parting promo.
2 months ago, I'm laying down for what's supposed to be the hottest new thing in the business just because he put on a new mask. Well, I just took my mask off and now I'm the hottest thing in the business. And as usual, everybody's got their opinions. The fans got their opinions. The office got their opinions. The boys in the back got their opinions. Bunch of Twitter tough guys out there on social media, huh? You see, the problem around here is there's too many fans in the locker room when they should be sitting out here with these people. Let's make one thing clear. I don't watch this business. This business watches me. Which brings me to Johnny Gargano, the heart of NXT. Johnny, congratulations. I heard you got out of hospital. Well, let me make one thing very clear. If you want your go again, I will send you straight back. And you won't be Johnny wrestling. You will be Johnny watches wrestling exactly the way it's supposed to be.